The following is a presentation of the TNH Podcast Network.
Didn't he say he wanted to get his number in the rafter? Is it there? Is it
there
up
was,
there yet?
There's a cool commercial about that. Yeah, no. That didn't happen, actually.
It
this
didn't?
Year. No.
Wait, what?
They actually...
I thought he made a promise.
They actually lost to the Bucks in 5 games in the most embarrassing fashion that I've seen.
But Kyrie must have played well, right?
Oh, extremely. I think he shot like 17% from 3, something like that.
17 or 70?
17.
Is that good?
No. That stinks. Like, cuck-up poops. That's terrible.
But isn't Kyrie supposed to be the best guard in Celtics history?
From what I was told, yeah. But, no.
What is good, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the second season of the TNH HoopCats podcast on the TNH Podcast Network. My name is Sam Eggert, and I'm here back with the crew for season 2. Yanni, Kakouris, and Matt Erb. Boys, what's going on?
Glad to be back.
This is the most hyped I've ever been back on the podcast.
This is the most hyped right now.
Well, we took way too much time off, and that's just for summer reasons. But now there's a lot to talk about this time. It's not like week to week. That's been, what, 3 months? So there's a lot to talk about.
I mean, like, we've seen each other, but we haven't recorded each other together. But now we're back. We've got mics in front of us, and we're ready to download our thoughts onto the TNH HoopCats podcast community.
And be ready, because we got some takes.
Got some hot takes. Yanni almost burned himself, actually, when he was talking to me earlier about one of his takes. So.
I'm a walking flamethrower at this moment in time, folks.
So be wary of that, listeners. Guys, I mean, look, to say that we were late to the party would be an understatement, because this is probably the most eventful free agency in the history of the NBA, and we haven't talked about it yet. You know, I mean, like, now we're here, now we got to make amends. So how are we going to do that? I think we're going to go in, go around, go up, go down, talk about our favorite, not necessarily free agency signings, but our favorite transactions during the offseason. Matt, I can see you're clamoring to say something.
You know, Sam keeps using the word free agency, and I don't really like that term. I like off-season move, because my favorite off-season move was Russell Westbrook to the Houston Rockets. I love the reunion between James Harden and Russell Westbrook. I think this is going to work. I'm very optimistic about it. I think this is a team that can clinch. I'm thinking at worst, I think number 2 seed. I think the Clippers can get a 1 seed. I think the Lakers are going to run into injury problems with Anthony Davis and even LeBron James at his old age. But I'm loving the Houston chemistry. I love the Houston offense. I love the system they run. I like Mike D'Antoni. And I think this is a big year for Mike D'Antoni, because this is the last year of his contract, because they didn't get a contract extension with him.
Yeah, it's title or bust.
Yeah, and it really is with them. And they have all their core together. They got Eric Gordon. They just re-signed Eric Gordon for that big deal. I think they just did PJ Tucker too. Clint
Did
Capella.
they sign PJ Tucker?
I think they extended him. Yeah, I believe so. And they have the Clint Capella, again, big part of their offense. I really like the offense they run with the 3 points. And I think if James Harden and Russell Westbrook can work out their chemistry stuff with who's going to have the ball most of the time, I think it'll work for them.
So with Tucker actually did not get an extension yet, but he's been asking for one. So we'll see what they do with that. But the thing is that Mike D'Antoni, he's an offense-first coach, and he has his system. People know what his system is. It's attack the basket and kick it out, shoot threes, let Harden do his thing, and now it's going to be more of, let Russ do his thing.
You know, I feel bad for CP3 because he's now put into a team that's not going to win. Definitely not. It won't even make the playoffs for that matter. But I think we all can agree Russell Westbrook at this stage in the career, Russell Westbrook is better than CP3.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I just don't think they have enough to win a title.
I think they're going to do well in the regular season. Playoffs we'll have to see with James Harden.
I mean, we have to pose the question, is this the first time we're ever going to see 2 guys get triple-double seasons on the same team?
Yeah, I think Russell Westbrook's going to have to... James Harden's definitely going to have to take a step back. I think he's not going to handle the ball as much because he shoots better than Russell, obviously. So he's going to be able to play off the ball more. And I think this will be the first year in 3 years. Maybe Russell doesn't average that triple-double.
My issue with that is that Harden's better off the ball than Westbrook, but Harden's also better with the ball in his hands than Westbrook. So if you're taking the ball out of Harden's hands and having Westbrook facilitate more, I don't think that's going to be a total positive. I think they'll be able to work with it, but I think that they're at their best when they're going Harden. And I don't think that they need another cog at guard. In a perfect world, if they're adding somebody, like anybody that they could pick, it would be somebody like a Cat or somebody like a Kristaps, where it's a big man who can rebound, play defense, and shoot threes, like PJ Tucker, except PJ Tucker's 6'4".
Yes. Now, a lot of people have talked about this team playing a little bit of flip-flop with Harden and Westbrook. What do you think that could entail for the season as Harden and Westbrook not seeing the court at the same exact time and both working with the other guys on the team, not with each other?
Yeah, it'll be the same thing as last season, except it'll be Westbrook instead of Paul.
60 win season 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be good.
They'll be starting together. They'll be probably ending together. But as for, I think Harden will stay on for most of the first quarter. Russell will take most of the second quarter. They'll stay on together towards the end of the first half. I think it'll be a lot like how they ran with CP3. And for the first year, it worked. And unfortunately, I think CP3's injuries really derailed what happened last year and the loss of Trevor Ariza as well.
Yeah, Ariza was a killer. I thought he was really the perfect fit because they needed that strong wing defender who had the length, who had the size, who had the ability to shoot the three and run the floor.
I mean, Eric Gordon, he's been playing the three. I think he can do. I don't think he's not as big as Trevor Ariza, so he doesn't defend. And Trevor Ariza was a great defender too, so we'll have to see what that works. But I'm very optimistic and I'm excited. Besides, obviously I want the Celtics to do well. Will they contend for a championship? That's a whole other topic. But I think if I pick a real championship contender this year, I'm going to root for the Rockets.
All right, Matt. If we're going to get into championship contenders, we're going to go into my favorite offseason move. And if you know me, you know I don't like the bright lights. You know I don't like the social media presence. The Taco Tuesdays of this generation, they disgust me. I'm more of the quiet, the background team, the ones that are going to snatch you when you're not looking, the ones that aren't going to post the worst social media posts that I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I'm talking about the greatest.
Can I guess? It's got to be Kyrie Irving, right? He's been quiet on social media.
Oh, no, I would never, ever talk to that fool in my whole entire life. I am talking about the future Western Conference champions and NBA champions, the Utah Jazz, acquiring Bojan Bogdanovic from the Indiana Pacers and making the best starting five we have seen in a while. And that is a hot claim.
In a while.
And I love it. This team has got the starting five that is the most slept on in the whole entire country. I get Mike Conley, the most overpaid, blah, blah, blah. He's still a bucket. Donovan Mitchell, bucket. Bogdanovic to this team, bucket. Who can guard Joe Ingles? No one. That's my guy, bucket. And Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. Are you kidding? That is a five that I am not going to bet against.
I thought you were going to say the Clippers.
Yeah, I did too. And I think you're forgetting that, what was the Warriors starting lineup for a little bit last year? They started 5 All-Stars from the year before. I mean, come on now.
Hey, a while? I mean, we haven't had a podcast in about 2 months, so maybe that's my while. But still, this team is going to be the NBA champions, and I am putting my foot down on it right now.
You know, look, they'll be really good. They'll probably be a top 3, top 4 seed in the West. I'm on that train. I'm on the train of them maybe even making the Western Conference Finals. And we'll stay on the Jazz subject for a little bit, but I don't see them beating the Clippers, which we'll get to later. But with the Jazz, I mean, yeah, Conley, Gobert, Mitchell, Ingles, Bogdanovic, they're all really good. Ed Davis was a great addition. But you look past that, you're relying on Royce O'Neal, Dante Exum. Actually, I think Exum's gone. You're relying on no names. Moutier.
Jeff Green. And I get they're not as deep as maybe some other teams, but I'm taking that 5 against any other 5.
Strictly starting 5, sure. They've got the shooting. They've got the defense. They've really got the defense. They've got the passing. They've got it all going on. And they don't have selfish players.
And they've worked this offseason. They've worked.
That puts them ahead of a lot of guys. Now, my favorite offseason move. Now, this might be a little bit of a shocker. When you think about great backcourts, what do you guys look for?
Shooting and ball handling.
Defense.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Is it D'Lo to the Warriors?
No.
Wow.
See, I'm thinking, I know you like that Trailblazers backcourt, but they didn't really do anything besides add Whiteside, and there's no way you can seriously say that was your favorite offseason move.
Yeah, it's not that.
I mean, I like in that Kemba Walker, because I think, and that Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart kind of defense, but again, Kemba Walker's not really, if you're talking about defense, he's not really known as a defender. And again, Denver didn't do anything with their backcourt, so I'm struggling. What do you have for us?
Yanni, you have any guesses? I'll give you one more word. Size in the backcourt.
Wow. Are we talking Philadelphia?
Nope.
Tell me who we're talking then.
We're talking the Indiana Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon and Victor Oladipo playing the 1 and 2, or what I like to say, the 1.5 and a 1.5, because these are both combo guards. Malcolm Brogdon, for those you don't know, he's 6'5", 230 pounds. Victor Oladipo, 6'4", 210. That's size for a backcourt. You have those two guys who can both shoot. Brogdon's better than Oladipo's shooting. Oladipo's averaging over 2 steals per game. He's a lockdown defender. He can facilitate. He He can attack the basket with anybody, barring he has a full recovery this season. And then as for Brogdon, I mean, he's one of the most underestimated players in basketball. There's a reason why he won Rookie of the Year. He can shoot, he can body people, he's smart, he doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, this backcourt's going to be really, really dangerous when they're fully healthy.
So let me get this straight. Your favorite offseason move was Malcolm Brogdon to the Pacers?
Easily.
Really?
By a whole lot.
I respect it. I don't think it's a wrong thing. It's just, it's not something that jumps out at you.
I think
That's
it
the point.
definitely puts them in a better position. 100% puts them in a better position. The only thing is, do they have enough to beat the newly formed Giants of the East?
To beat the Sixers
We're
or the
talking
Bucks?
Sixers, Bucks, Celtics.
Yeah, they have
do
enough
they
to
have
beat-
enough?
Well, here's the thing. I'm taking stock in this right now. I don't know if this backcourt is going to be at full force in the 2019-2020 season. I think this is going to be a thing where in the 2020-2021 season, they're going to be elite. And towards the end of this season, where it's Oladipo who's supposed to return in January and Brogdon playing at full force, that's when we're going to see it. This is going to be an April thing where they're going to be maybe a 5-6 seed in the East, and they're going to be playing against a team like the Celtics, who, yeah, the Celtics have a great backcourt, and that's kind of where they thrive, but we're going to see them lock down and attack, and it's going to be a dual threat of the two most well-rounded guards in basketball, or two of the most well-rounded guards. And people forget that Brogdon's only 24 years old.
Yes, people also forget
Brogdon's 26, actually.
he's the most forgotten Rookie of the Year behind Michael Carter-Williams.
Yeah, but he's been only getting better each year. He went from scoring 10 points his rookie year, 13 points his sophomore year, to 15 points last year. He shot 92.8% from free throw. He shot 42% from three.
However, another guy who's been plagued with injuries as well.
That is true. And again, this is barring injuries, which is impossible to predict.
So you're talking a lot about this backcourt. Now, try not to think about this too much. Where do they rank on backcourts throughout the league this year?
This
the
year?
Pacers. Yeah.
You're saying this year?
This year. I mean, if you're talking about Brogdon and Oladipo compared to, Harden, Westbrook, Curry, I'd say Curry Thompson, Curry D'Lo, or Kemba Smart, Kemba Brown. You know what I'm saying? Where do they rank? And I know, Murray Harris. I mean, where do they rank amongst your
this
your
year?
best backcourts?
I'd say they're probably behind the Rockets. They're probably behind the Warriors. They're probably behind the Jazz, the Celtics. I'd put them ahead of the Nuggets.
Okay,
I'd
yeah,
put them,
yeah. That's a good argument. I'd put the Pacers ahead of the Lakers and the Clippers because I think Pat Pev's good, but who's gonna? I guess if they put Lou Williams, but again, I think he's gonna want to be off the bench again.
Those backcourts don't jump out at you.
Yeah,
but the other
suck.
jump court I was going to mention was my personal favorite, the Trailblazers.
Trailblazers are better for sure.
Yeah, so there's a lot of backcourts that right now are better, but that's because Oladipo's on the shelf. They haven't had enough time to play with each other and develop their games and understand each other's games. So I'm saying when that happens, it's going to be really, really elite, and they're going to be able to lock down any backcourt in basketball. Because if anybody can body James Harden, it's going to have to be somebody who's got some weight to them. Because Harden's so muscular.
So are you putting Oladipo at the 1 or the 2?
That's
He's
the
usually
thing.
a 2.
I said 1.5 because they're both playing.
So you think they'll switch off?
It's going to be a combo, yeah. We'll see Oladipo bring the ball up, and we'll see Brogdon bringing it up. So moving on.
Before we go into any other segment, I think I need to get it off my chest. I have fully swayed my opinion of the Brooklyn Nets, and I want all of Brooklyn to just explode. Is that a hot take? Because I hate them greatly.
I think you just hate Kyrie Irving. Come on, you can't hate on Kevin Durant or especially if they even take Carmelo Anthony, which is a rumor going around. And DeAndre Jordan, he's not a bad player by any means.
Not a bad player, a funny guy, but I think I just want the whole city to explode as a whole, like just disappear, maybe like break off and like separate because I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to see Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving kissing on social media anymore. I don't want any of this stupid stuff that the bitch boys have to offer. I'm done. I'm done with Brooklyn.
I'm well documented as a Brooklyn Nets fan on season 1 of the Teenage HoopCats podcast. I'm officially a Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie fan now.
This is
I'm
not
a Nets
the
fan
same
anymore.
Brooklyn team as last year, for sure.
Not
Very
the
much
same at
so.
all. And I appreciate that you're picking the players that I wouldn't execute. So that is a good take. But I can't deal with the Brooklyn Nets. I can't wait till Kyrie Irving steps into the Boston Garden. That is going to be one of the greatest nights of my life.
I think
to hear the boos rain.
I think those might be the loudest boos in the history of the Garden when that happens.
Potentially the loudest boos. How do you go about promising not only championships but a re-signing to a team, and then come February and March you're already talking about leaving? That is near impossible to me.
Kyrie's got severe emotional problems.
Emotional, mental.
And I don't have confidence in him keeping them in check, thus spawning the downfall of the Nets.
Correct. I agree.
Part 2.
And I like some of the Nets. I like Joe Harris. I think Karis LeVert has a lot of potential. I just hate Kyrie and KD.
Yeah, Kyrie brings it all down. I can't root for that team anymore. I still want to see, Harris, Dinwiddie, LeVert, Taurean Prince I like. I want to see Jarrett Allen develop into a better player. I think he'll learn a lot behind DeAndre Jordan. It's just that, I swear to God, Kyrie Irving is the devil, and I really don't want to see him have any success for the rest of his career. We've got enough highlights of him. Those aren't going anywhere. I can live without his ball handling. I don't need it.
I don't see any rings on his finger from the Celtics, because that was pretty embarrassing, if I do say so myself.
Oh, and didn't he say he wanted to get his number in the rafter? Is it there? Is it up there yet?
There's a cool commercial about that. Yeah, no. That didn't happen, actually. I don't know if you watched this year. No.
Wait, what?
I
thought he made a promise.
They actually lost to the Bucks in 5 games in the most embarrassing fashion that I've seen.
But Kyrie must have played well, right?
Oh, extremely. I think he shot 17% from 3, something like that.
17 or 70?
17.
Is that good?
No. That stinks. Cuck up poops. That's terrible.
But isn't Kyrie supposed to be the best guard in Celtics history?
From what I was told, yeah. But no. If that makes sense.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that stinks. Yeah.
Yeah, all sarcasm aside, Enes Kanter got the real chance to put number 11 in the jerseys right now. So, good on him. And I think Kyrie Irving may be the most talented guards the Celtics have ever seen, but as a player, no, not so much.
Enes Kanter's also just going to be hilarious. Regardless of what he does, he's going to be hilarious. We're going to get to watch him just shove someone to the ground at least 3 times this year. Regardless of what he does, he's just going to maybe throw a punch. And that is going to bring some juice back to the Boston Garden.
Yeah, I've got confidence in Kanter. He's been working on his 3-point shot this offseason too, so we'll see how that plays out. Because if Aaron Baines can develop a 3-point shot the way he did, I've got confidence that Kanter can probably do the same. And I like the Kanter signing, but the thing about that is that we're signing him to replace Horford when what made sense was for him to replace Baines and retain Horford. Because he's really a better version of Aaron Baines, except not as good on defense. Because he's got the same body, he's a beast on the boards, and he can finish down low. But now you have him as the number 1-5, and you're missing Al Horford, who the entire offense ran through.
Yeah, what do we think happened there? Because it seemed like Horford's foot was out the door.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what
agency.
happened. The Sixers offered him more money than anybody else.
Money talks.
And they have a chance to win there, so he was going.
Money
and I don't think it's a I hate Boston thing. I think it's more of a last year sucked. I understand why it sucked. These guys are offering me money. The Celtics aren't offering me as much money. I'm going to Philly.
And it has nothing to do with the Celtics. I think Philly just took advantage of the situation that they were offered. And now Horford is wearing one of my league's favorite jerseys in the whole entire league.
Yeah, hopefully that bites Philly in the ass because Horford's old and hopefully he gets bad really quickly now.
Yeah, I mean, your knees can only hold up for so long, right?
Oh, exactly. And especially when you're a big man. Guy's been playing since 08.
And he's because there's no way Joel Embiid is not playing the 5. So that means Horford's the 4, Harris 3, Richardson 2, and then Simmons 1. So I mean, it's a very good defensive lineup. But do you think Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are going to listen to Al Horford's veteran experience? Because that's what Al Horford brought to the Celtics. And I just
think
don't
they
see
will.
Joel Embiid I mean, come on, Horford locked down Embiid 2 years in a row.
I think Embiid knows that he has a lot to learn from Horford. I think Embiid is aware that he's been getting shut down by Horford year in and year out, and he's glad that he doesn't have to deal with that anymore.
I agree. Another thing about the Sixers, I think their biggest fault of the offseason was letting J.J. Redick get away. He not only kept them in, but sparked a lot of their offense last year. And I think losing him is going to be a big blow for the Sixers.
Yeah, he's a top 5 shooter in the league right now, and Philly lost shooting. They did. They have Richardson, can not nearly as good as J.J. Redick, but he can shoot. Embiid, no. Harris, most of the time, yeah, he can shoot. Simmons, I mean, we'll see. I mean, see,
no.
we've seen
No.
we've seen his offseason stuff, so maybe he'll attempt more, but he's not going to be known as a 3-point shooter this year for sure. And then Horford can shoot the 3 off, but he's not he's more of a catch and shoot kind of guy.
Quick off subject about off-season like pickup runs. I think everyone is the best player they've ever been when they play in a gym with these absolute scrubs. Like some guys are pretty solid. Like obviously you got NBA guys running against NBA guys, but at the same time, you see highlights of like Ben Simmons making a shot. Like Ben Simmons is going to be hitting threes this year. No chance.
Ben Simmons looks just as good as I do when it comes to shooting threes with nobody playing defense on you.
I mean, if you've ever seen Carmelo in that gym,
Hoodie Mello.
Hoodie Mello. If you ever seen Hoodie Mello in that gym where Hoodie Mello doesn't miss, then if he translated that to the NBA, he would be the only active Hall of Famer that the NBA's ever seen.
I mean, you watch him in that gym, it makes you think like, wow, did this guy play in the NBA for 15 years at an all-star level? And you're like, oh, wait, yes, he did. And then you remind yourself, an elite high school player can do the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean everything you're saying is right. But I think he will attempt more threes, and maybe because he hasn't made a three his whole career. So I think he'll make at least 2 this year. I'm betting on that.
You're gonna bet on Carmelo hitting 2 threes this year?
No. Ben Simmons.
Oh, I will bet
Ben
you.
Simmons.
Let's make a bet right now. We're on the record. I'm gonna put $10 that Ben Simmons will not make a 3 this year.
I will gladly take that because he is going to make a 3.
Yanni.
He's going to make at least 1.
Yanni, can you just tell the listeners what Matt and I are doing right now?
Yeah, I can confirm that Sam has reached over to Matt. Matt has reached back, and a shaking action has taken place between the hands of Sam and Matt.
$10, Matt.
Yeah, $10, absolutely.
Does this include the postseason?
See, that's what I'm thinking because the postseason will go into when we finish school. So I'm thinking, do you want it to just be regular season? Because we'll have a chance to talk about all that.
We'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch, but we may not be able to officially record. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we will. We're going to record. We're going to have to find a way to record.
All right, so you want to go all through playoffs too?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
So moving on, this is a good segue. Western Conference predictions. Who's going to be at the top? Who's going to be the odd man out? Because there's a lot of good teams. Yanni, Matt, I know you like the Kings. Do you see them making the playoffs this year?
Unfortunately, not. No, the West is just too stacked right now. Let's go off the hand, right? The 2 LA teams, Clippers, Lakers, the Jazz. And this is in no particular order, who I think is going to be the best. Jazz, the Nuggets, the Rockets, Golden State. And there's one I'm forgetting.
The Spurs.
I see. And Spurs is a weird 8th, but there's another team that I'm thinking that
the Blazers.
Blazers. That's a top set. Those are 7
8
teams
right there.
Those are 7. Well, I'm not including the Spurs right now. I'm saying the 7 teams that think they have a real shot of winning it all. I don't think the Spurs think they have a chance of winning it all. I think those 7 teams I just listed they think they have a chance of winning it. This whole thing.
So who are the other fringe playoff teams?
So
in the
I
West?
think I'd put the Spurs. I'd put Dallas in there. I'd even think about the Pelicans. We'll see. I mean, we know. I don't think anyone expected the Kings to blow up as much as they did last year. So I think even if the Kings improve again, I think they have a real shot. I think Suns have no chance. Who else? Who am I forgetting in the West?
The Grizzlies.
Grizzlies have no chance.
And the T-Wolves.
And the T-Wolves have no chance. So I think the Spurs, the Pelicans, kind of, and Dallas, I think, are fighting for an 8th seed. I mean, who knows? Like I heard someone say the other day, those 7 teams, like, any of them would be devastated going home in the first round because they think they all, like Golden State in the first round, they could be a 6th or 7th seed, especially if they don't get Clay back in a good amount of time. Like even like imagine the Lakers going home or Denver or Utah. Like these are teams that can compete. And
Tears
even
of joy.
Trailblazers too. Like these are like imagine the Trailblazers going home in the first round. It would be unbelievable.
So I'm with you, Matt. Though I am thinking those same teams, not in any specific order. The ones you said are the Western Conference playoff teams. The thing that I see that I've already claimed, Utah Jazz, NBA champions, I'm signing that off right now. But if they don't, for some miracle, win the NBA championship, I don't think that we can forget how good the Warriors were without KD and how good they're going to be this year. I think they still have the pieces. Steph is going to have the ball in his hands more. I trust him. One of the best shooters of all time. I think they have the pieces, and they are the most slept-on team, which is crazy to say. Are we saying that the Warriors are a slept-on team? The Golden State Warriors. How many championships have they won in the last 5 years? 4?
3.
3? We're saying that team is the most slept-on team in the West. That is crazy talk. I think the Clippers obviously have the guys. The Lakers, as much as I hate their guts, might have some of the guys. I don't think they're deep enough. I think they're old and washed up, but they have some of the guys. I think the Warriors have every piece they need to make another run. Is that crazy to say?
No, it's not crazy to say. I think there's the chance, but I just think that the Clippers have better talent on the front line and better depth.
The Clippers have it. I agree. I'm just interested to see the dynamic between how Paul George acts with a different kind of star around him.
He's playing with another wing. It's something he's never done before.
Yes.
Kawhi Leonard isn't a wing like LeBron James. LeBron James demands the ball. He needs the ball. Kawhi Leonard, it can do things off the, like, he doesn't need the ball to do well. Like, I think Paul George and Kawhi Leonard would work well together. And I'm going to push back on that Utah thing. I personally think that at their best, Denver can beat Utah in a 7-game series. I think with the addition of Grant, a great defender, I think people seem to forget that they acquired Grant from the Jeremiah Grant, right? That's his first name?
Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant from the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I am a firm believer that if Bradley Beal is on the trade market, Denver is going to make a push for him.
Not only that, Matt, but I think people also are forgetting that Michael Porter Jr. is coming back this year. I have a bold prediction he is going to win Rookie of the Year this year, and I think he is going to be an explosion for Denver. Do I think that makes them have enough? No. I don't think Denver has winners. They have good players. I don't think they have winners, and I think that is their problem.
Yeah, and I think, and along with your Michael Porter Jr. point, they also got Bol in the late rounds, who could be a good rotation piece as well. And I believe, and this may be a topic of another time, but Nikola Jokic is winning MVP this year. There's just, I mean, this guy, best big man to run these triple doubles I've ever seen, and that's not really saying a lot because I've only been on this earth for really 18 years with like a live conscious. So I think Nikola Jokic is going to win that MVP. I don't even think Giannis deserved that MVP. That's a whole nother topic of discussion. But I think Jokic is going to want that. And I just don't see everyone saying LeBron. Like, no, LeBron's they're going to share that ball. LeBron's going to average like 25 and 7 and 7 or something. AD is going to do his thing with maybe like 25 and 12. That's just not good enough. I think Jokic is really going to take that extra step after finally having some playoff experience.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing about the Nuggets versus the Jazz is that if anybody's going to lock up Nikola Jokic, it would be Rudy Gobert. So there's that aspect
that's
of it.
an excellent point. He's playing against the best defender.
And the other thing about the Nuggets is I went into last season with a lot of faith in Gary Harris. I thought he was going to take his game to another level. That didn't happen. If he takes his game to that next level where he can play not at a CJ McCollum level, but maybe at the level of like, I don't know, I can't really think of a name off the top of my head, but if he's like an 83 overall in 2K, something like that, we could see something going on with them, but I just don't have enough faith in that backcourt. I like Will Barton a lot. I like Torrey Craig. I like Monte Morris a lot. But I don't know if it's enough to beat the Jazz and win a title.
I would argue that Denver's deeper than the Jazz.
They are, but I don't think that their starting line is good enough.
Good enough? Okay.
And I think that if anybody, as I said, if anybody's going to lock up Jokic, it'll be Gobert. Because Gobert or Giannis are like really the two guys.
But are you all in on the Clippers? Is that what I'm hearing?
Entirely. I mean, how can you not be?
I'm not sold yet.
Well, let me sell you. Do you want me to give you a reason why to be totally bought in on them?
I do want a reason, but I need to. This is a team. Like I can imagine AD and LeBron playing together. I just can't imagine. I need to see it first. Having Lou Williams off the bench and Kawhi, Paul George, Pat Bev. Who's their center? Who am I forgetting?
Ivica Zubac.
Oh, Zubac. Yeah, Zubac's young, but he can do stuff.
With Harrell off the bench, potentially playing the
Harrell. That's who I'm forgetting. Yeah.
All right, guys. Listen. They made one of the most under-the-radar acquisitions this offseason. They got Mo Harkless from the Trailblazers. And I know you guys. I'm looking at you guys right now. You're like, Matt's giving me that like, what are you talking about? Like his hands are in the air. Mo Harkless is not an elite wing defender, but a very good one. And he's a big body. He can shoot a little bit. He's smart with the basketball. He played valuable minutes for the Blazers last year. He made a lot of big plays for them in the playoffs too. He's kind of part of the reason why they went as far as they did, because he was locking up guys and he was playing a steady offensive game where he could get a bucket when you needed it, although you weren't really relying on him to score. And that's the kind of player that any playoff team can utilize.
I feel like if your name's Mo, you're automatically a role player for a team.
Hey, Mo Williams, one of my favorite point guards of all time, so don't trash on him.
Mo Wagner,
not as much.
But continuing, he will get to that role because he is a Mo.
Exactly, and he could be good because he can shoot and he's a big. But that again, another topic for another time. But continuing with the Clippers, Landry Shamet. I mean, like he's the next great shooter in my opinion. He's already really good as a rookie shooting-wise. He's got the size for it. He's got the chops, and he's got better players around him, which is going to free him up. I see him shooting at like a 43% clip this season. That's huge. That's like having a J.J. Redick on your team. And I know that like he doesn't have the same resume as a Redick, but he's getting there, and I think he'll be there a lot faster than you think, especially working with one of the best coaches in basketball. Doc Rivers, who should have won Coach of the Year last year because he was working with not as much talent, yet he still put together a very good team.
I agree with that.
You add on to that, hopefully Jerome Robinson develops. I like the BC product. I always got to root for him. Rodney McGruder, they got him from Miami. He's not amazing, but he could be a decent role player. He has potential. They got Patrick Patterson. He's a big who can shoot, a good body coming off the bench. If he's playing 10, 12 minutes a night, that's a positive. And then, I don't even need to get into Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, Patrick Beverly, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell. We know what these guys can do, and they're going to be good. And you look up and down that roster, for guys that are actually going to play, there's not one liability.
Yeah, I mean, those are all great points. Still not sold on it because I have to see them play, but nothing you said was wrong. But I also add in Steve Ballmer is a great owner as well.
Yeah, he's got energy.
Yeah.
Sure as hell.
And that's I think perfect for that Doc Rivers kind of crew.
Moving on, Eastern Conference. Who do you guys see stepping up? I think we're all in agreement that there's only a couple of teams that are really going to be in contention this year. Where do you guys see the Nets landing without KD? Yanni, what's your take?
So, obviously, I'm going to give you the big four. Bucks, Sixers, Celtics, Nets. I think those are the four teams you got to go through. I think that's going to be... You might include the Pacers in there. Those are the five that are going to seal it. The rest of the East is going to just follow in suit with whatever the rest of the seeding comes to fruition.
What about the Raptors?
I don't think the Raptors have it anymore. I think it was just the one and done. I think Kawhi's gone.
But they still have Siakam.
Yes, you still have Siakam. You still have Van Vliet. You still have these guys who are obviously impacts in the run. Like, it obviously wasn't all Kawhi that took them to the finals, but I think he was just such a presence for them, and he did everything for them that I think they are just going to fall off. I think they're going to be a 6, maybe a 7. I don't think they touch those top 5.
So they'll be like one of those fringe playoff teams.
Yes, like how the Miami Heat have been since LeBron left.
Yeah, like the Heat, Magic, and Pistons.
Yes, they will follow suit with those teams. But I know I'm biased. I think the Celtics have what it takes this year. I think chemistry is going to be
do
up.
What?
Not only make the Eastern Conference Finals, I think they're going to win the Eastern Conference Finals this year. Not only do I think the chemistry is going to be up, I think the young guns are ready to go. We've seen it with Team USA. They are arguably the 4 best players on the court for Team USA this summer. They have been playing out of their minds. Their plus minuses are all up. Marcus Smart is the damn captain of the team. Captain USA. Captain America.
Captain America.
Those boys are ready to go. They are ready to go. And a lot of people say, oh, it tires you out. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart will all be ready on the first night to absolutely kick ass. And it is going to be a sight to see. Must-watch television. Those boys are ready to go.
Yeah, and I think the reports are that Gordon Hayward has been looking really good as well, and along with Enes Kanter as well. Yeah, everything you said was right. I just talking about specific standings. I'm putting the Bucks at 1, even though they lost Brogdon. That's a big loss for them. I do not trust Embiid's health. I really don't. I think he's a phenomenal at his best. Because arguably the best big man in the league. But, come playoff time, as we saw last year and the year before, he starts to drift. He starts to not be as healthy. He starts not to play as well. So I'm going to put them at the 3 seed. I think the Celtics can lock up a 2 seed for sure. And I think they have a real chance of winning the Eastern Conference Finals as well. I'd probably put the Pacers at 4th. I really like Detroit too because I think Blake Griffin is excellent. Derrick Rose is on that team now too. And, Andre Drummond does his thing too. So I think that's a good 5th seed. The Nets, again, it's funny because Kyrie's almost in the same situation as he was last year with all this young talent around him, so he could very well ruin that young talent too. So I don't see the Nets going any better than the 6th seed. Kyrie Irving's just not a. We know that Kyrie Irving's just not a person who can lead and carry a team like a lot of these players can. And then 7th and 8th, I mean, Kyle Lowry's old and fat. He's not what he used to be. I think Siakam's gonna be an all-star this year. I think that's a good low seed, like someone just mentioned. And then maybe 8th seed. I mean, Hornets not making it up there for sure. Hornets worst team in the league. No way Wizards are getting up there. Maybe the Magic. Who am I forgetting?
The
Heat. Jimmy Butler. Again, Jimmy Butler is not a player that can care. I don't know. I don't trust Jimmy Butler. I never really liked Jimmy Butler. They could be an 8th seed. I can see that. I think they're probably better than the Magic. Again, Vucevic is a good player too. I think that I know I'm forgetting another team, but it clearly is not important. So yeah, that's where I believe the Eastern Conference is going to go.
Yeah, I think you guys are both on the right track. I agree. I don't think I really need to go through who I think is going to be the specific guys because the top 4 we can agree upon. I think that the Sixers are going to get the number 1 seed if everyone stays healthy. If Embiid falters, like you said, Matt, I'd give it to the Celtics. And my reason why is that every offseason, what do players do? They train. And I'd say a large majority of the NBA players are training by themselves or with trainers or with a handful of players. And Brad Stevens made this point on Bob Ryan's podcast the other day. The Celtics, their training is playing USA basketball. That's their training regimen this season. So not only are they playing high-level basketball, who are they listening to?
Yeah, they have two of the arguably the only better coaches than Brad Stevens.
Greg
Helping them
Popovich
out, and Steve Kerr.
Yeah. And Lloyd Pierce. That's a really good trio. And if the Celtics could use anything, it'll be a fresh voice, because I'm sure that those guys might not be sick of hearing Brad Stevens talk, but they need a little break from it. And who better than Popovich and Kerr and Pierce, who I think deserves to be in that trio.
Yeah, and again, the only thing I don't like about the Celtics being number 1 seed is that with the Bucks, who do the Celtics have to guard Giannis? I mean, I think the best person to guard him is Jaylen Brown. I mean, Ennis can't do it. I mean,
maybe Tatum.
I think Brown is a better defender than Tatum, though. I think Tatum could do it.
Well, I just say Tatum because of his size.
He is, yeah. I think you're right. I probably more likely to, but I think, and then, unfortunately, Smart. If Smart was like a few inches taller, he'd be the best defender in the league. But his size is too short to guard someone who's 6'11".
I said it before, Semi Ojeleye should be the best defender on Giannis.
You read my mind.
Didn't show up like I wanted him to in the playoff series, but I think he should be and is going to be for the Celtics this year.
What if it's Taco?
I don't think Taco can keep up with Giannis. I think Giannis is a little bit faster than Taco, but you never know. I mean, Taco gave Zion Williamson a little run for his money in the NCAA tournament this year, so we'll see, right?
A good year for Taco would be if he gets playing time. I think the fans love him already. It's a shame that he's just not a little better, because I think he could be a starting five if he could have a little more muscle or something, get through the paint. But I think a good win for Taco is getting a playing time for sure.
And are we also just going to ignore the rookie class that the Celtics are bringing in? I mean, watching Carson Edwards this summer was magical. He was putting on an absolute performance against other guys in the draft. And I know Summer League, it's not the NBA, I get that. He was hitting shots that are NBA shots over guys who are going to be playing in the NBA. And that is not an argument. That is a fact. I think Carson Edwards is going to have the potential to be an impact player for the Boston Celtics by the end of this year.
And I think we forget that the Celtics had the best record in Summer League. They were the number 1 seed until they lost to Memphis in the first round. So, again, these rookies are special for sure.
So, continuing with the Celtics, I want to hear your guys' take on this. Robert Williams, entering his second year now. Do you guys expect him to make a leap? Or do you expect him to be the same kind of shot blocker, alley-ooper? He'll make big plays, but you can't really rely on him for consistent minutes. Do you see him becoming a more consistent player?
So a lot of people say that the summer after your rookie season is the defining summer of your career, in the fact that you will learn how to train properly, you will figure out who you are as a player, and you will become what you will become in that next season. I think that is 85% true. In that 15%, I find Robert Williams. I don't think Robert Williams is going to be himself this season. I think he's got maybe one more summer to figure it out, and his third season is going to be the season that he becomes the Robert Williams that we're going to see for the rest of his career. I think he's still in the process of figuring it out.
Yeah, I think he's going to be better than last year for sure. I think he's going to get more playing time now that Horford's not there. Will he be any significantly better? I guess we'll have to see. But I have faith. I'm optimistic about him for sure.
Yeah, I agree. We're entering the final 10 minutes of the pod. I think the way I want to close it out is with a little bit of early season award predictions. But the award that I want to focus on is the Rookie of the Year. Now, granted, we've had a lot of time to think about this. We've had all off season. Do you guys know who you're going to say?
Yes, and I'll talk right to it. I used to say it last year. I'm not sure if I said it full-heartedly, but I know I said the words probably on this podcast that Cam Reddish is not a college basketball player. He is an NBA basketball player. And I think Cam Reddish is in one of the top 2 situations of this rookie class. And I think he has all the tools to be the best player, not only of this year, but of the career that these rookies are going to have. I think Cam Reddish has everything that is essential to be an NBA player. And I think he is going to win Rookie of the Year this year.
Yeah, Cam Reddish is a great pick. I don't trust Zion Williamson's health. I think he's going to be the most spectacular rookie, but will he put up big numbers necessarily? probably not so much. I don't trust RJ Barrett on that crappy New York Knicks team. So that leaves one player. Who am I thinking of?
It's got to be Ja.
It's got to be Ja. I mean, I just got a Ja Morant Grizzlies jersey a few weeks ago. I think he can really, and especially since he's, again, that's a debate whether who's better, the Memphis or the Knicks. But I think with Ja Morant has a more specific skill set for the NBA, and I think he's going to be able to put up good numbers especially since Mike Conley's gone. So I think he's going to put up better numbers than RJ Barrett and can score, can pass, you can do all the things. He's a walking triple double as a rookie. So I'm going to have to go with Ja Morant.
Yes, and I'd also like to just touch on my earlier point of Michael Porter Jr. I think it's going to be a toss-up between him and Cam Reddish. I do think Cam Reddish has all the tools. I'm full in on Cam Reddish, but if it's not Cam Reddish, it's Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. got to stay healthy first, and then we can see.
You guys raise a lot of good points, and Matt, I'm pretty in agreement with you on Ja Morant, but I'm going to be a contrarian. I think Kobe White's going to take it because Morant and White are probably going to have the ball in their hands a similar amount. I just think Kobe White is going to emerge as the better rookie. I don't know if he's going to have a better career, but White's got the size and the better body right now to be successful in the NBA. And I think with that, we're going to see him have the ball in his hands almost at all times with a pretty weak Chicago Bulls team. Like, who do they even have around him on the Bulls? I mean, it's
Markkanen. They got nobody.
Like Lauri Markkanen's a good player to have for a rookie because he's a big who can shoot.
Lauri Markkanen's going to be a great player, and I think we're forgetting Zach LaVine too. I think the Bulls. Again, I forgot to mention them in my Eastern Conference predictions, and same with Atlanta too. Atlanta's a decent team too. That's why Cam Reddish might be a good pick because he's on a good team. But I think the Bulls got a real chance to not go horribly negative.
Yeah, well, and another thing for White is that he's playing with two guards who have pretty well-developed games in Tomas Satoransky, who's been a good role player for the Wizards for a couple of years now, and then Chris Dunn, who's a good defensive point guard, so I think he'll have room to learn from them. But I just think Kobe White's the more talented player of them, so I think we're going to see him getting a lot of burn early, and he'll score a lot of points this season.
Sam, I think you are right with this one. Just I see a lot of what Trae Young's first half looked like in what Kobe White's first half is going to look like. And if he figures it out and turns it up, I think he's got the potential to do that. But I don't think he's going to come right out of the gate and be a stud right away.
Yeah, that's a good point because last year, if you were basing Rookie of the Year only on post-All-Star break, I think it goes to Trae Young.
100%, yes.
Yeah, and with that, the way Doncic emerged early as the real best player out of that draft class, he deserved it.
Yeah, I think you seem to forget that he got the third or fourth most All-Star votes from the fans to be in the All-Star game, Doncic.
Yeah, he was deservingly so. He was really good. I think the last topic, a little bit off color, but Dwight Howard has signed with the Lakers. Dwight Howard Part 2. Matt, what are you thinking?
Because of course it was unfortunate what happened to DeMarcus Cousins with his ACL, right? ACL injury, or was it
something like that?
Achilles, something like that. He hurt his leg again, so he's out, which is a shame because I was hoping to see him get better from his other injury. And then I heard that they were looking for another big man, and it was between Joakim Noah and Dwight Howard, and I just both of them are terrible. But right now in their careers. But I was really hoping that it would be Dwight Howard, just because look at the irony in that. Honestly, I'm just happy that I think the Lakers will. I do not think Dwight Howard would be a good addition to that locker room. So we'll have to see. I think it's funny. I think the Lakers will do again. Dwight Howard's going to play 20 minutes, maybe.
Oh, I think he'll be playing more like 10 minutes.
I heard that. I mean, I didn't know JaVale McGee had bad asthma, and that's why he only plays really good for. Or at least last year, for 15, 20 minutes. I think JaVale McGee's the better five. And again, Anthony Davis doesn't want to play the five, but he'd obviously be the best five on that team. So we'll have to see. I think it's just purely for the irony reasons that I just love that pick of Dwight Howard.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. The Lakers are weird with their big men. Obviously, they seem to be recycling guys who have been in the league for a while because they can't seem to find the young fits that they need. So it's interesting to see how Dwight is going to fit into the equation and into the attitudes of everyone else in Los Angeles. I'm not sold on Dwight Howard at that position yet, but he obviously has the pieces. He has potential. I just don't know if the attitude is there to mesh with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, I'm in the same wavelength. Dwight's saying that he's got a new outlook and a new attitude and whatever. I don't know if I have confidence in that. But if he does, I like Dwight. I think Dwight's a Hall of Fame player. I'd like to see him succeed in the latter half of his career. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Do I think he's just going to get hurt really early? Yes. So I think that's where I stand on it, and I think that's a good time to wrap up the pod. I want to give a thank you to our producer, Benjamin Strawbridge. I want to thank Miguel Oyler for the new intro music. And also a big thank you to Matt, my co-hosts, Matt and Yanni. It's always fun working with you guys.
Yes, sir.
Always fun.
And just a reminder, you can find us on Bandcamp at teenagepodcastnetwork.bandcamp.com/releases. Again, that's teenagepodcastnetwork.bandcamp.com/releases. And you can also find us on our new YouTube page, the TNH HoopCats Podcast. Please subscribe, maybe even like or comment on a video, and that's all I got.
See you next week, folks.
See you later.
Good night, guys.